Welcome back to ESL Southeast Champions Season 6 online playoffs. We are literally moments away from diving into the third and last unexpected game of this best of three series between Different Dimension and Bontech to see who is our first finalist for the LAN finals. My name is Jonah Troubling Pars. I'm here with Brody Gosta Vernon to bring you the end of this best of three.
Like really, the series right now, like we're getting to the unexpected thing. Like right now, there's a lot of pressure on Different Dimension to kind of like show, like, okay, guys, take a breather. It happened last game. We're gonna completely ignore that and go into this. And like right now, Bontech, just looking through the picks and bans, have something in mind, but the question is, will it really work against straight? Different Dimension have got strong picks. They've got a strong late game. They got a decent early game. So I don't know. Like right now, picking the Azir into the Kassadin, you got all these strange matchups. I don't know. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a wild early game. I expect this to be, very one-sided to a point where if Bontech are going to be, taking this game, they're going to be ahead early on and they're going to continue the lead. And the same can be said for Different Dimension. They're like, oh, they want to prove a point. Well, they're going to be aggressive early on and they're going to continue this lead as well. So I don't know. It's going to be a wild roller coaster.
Before we jump into the game, who do you think is going to take our first ticket and who do you think is going to be trying to get back into the chase of the ticket from our lower bracket?
Well, I'm going to have to give it to Different Dimension to actually take this series and go through. Like, there's a lot of pressure on them, but they have shown, quite some strong decision making in the first game. And like, if they could just reset themselves, ignore that last game happened and get back into this and then, take a calm, collective breather and get back into this, I've got a feeling they'll do well. So like they are going to be like, I can see them going through this, but like the big question is if they're able to reset, if they're able to get back into this, and if they are able to ignore the last game.
Well, give it up, ladies and gentlemen, because we are going to the third game of our best of three between Different Dimension and Bontech. And for one last time, hashtag DDWin if you are with Different Dimension, hashtag BTWin if you feel like Bontech can make the reverse sweep. So let me see all these hashtags into the chat and see who you guys are with, because maybe some minds have changed after what Different Dimension did on the previous game.
Oh yeah, like right now there's a lot of eyes staring widely at a few things. But speaking of eyes stared widely, you guys should be looking at the exclamation mark giveaway to win yourself an ESL 2.0 chair and some vouchers at the ESL store. Exclamation mark commands if you want to learn about the other commands, like the exclamation mark cup for more information on this event. Exclamation mark social if you want to get the social media and when the games are going live and what other games, blah 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 blah. And one of the most important ones, exclamation mark bracket, to see which team is going to be going to the lower brackets, to see who's going to be battling their last chance to get into this. Like I don't know, like right now there's a lot of pressure on both these teams, and like right now I don't know who I'm going to give it to, but like I'm going to be sticking with Different Dimension, just hopefully for this game, just to see how they play off. But it's not over. Like Bontech, they're showing that they have got team fight capabilities, so they could go in this one. As we see the early aggression, look at this from both teams.
Well, they are in it to win it, obviously both of them, but specifically I just want to focus on the bot lane aggression, because that Misfortune has to get ahead early game. If she doesn't, there is no way of getting back on the Misfortune carry. We do know that the Gaston is going to suffer quite a bit in the early game getting his CS down because of the range difference, because he is a melee. But then after 6, he had a chance to even 1v1 on his own the Azir. Both the junglers started from the red buffs, and right now they are facing each other. They are ready for the gank and the counter gank, and we are going straight onto the mid lane. The Nidalee is there, and they are going to spot the Maokai as well and back down to the bot lane, because yes, they both want the early game aggression, but nobody wants to be the one that makes the mistake and gets caught.
Oh yeah, like as much as you want to try to take that advantage, if you do give away a slither, like oh there goes first blood, it can start to snowball in both directions. Like both these teams right now are looking to go completely, I wouldn't say aggressive, but try and take as much advantage this time. Play it thoroughly, try and get as much of a snowball going as you can, and then get into this. Like top lane right now, Cho'Gath is doing a lot into Shen, but Shen is always doing a lot of damage in return to the Cho'Gath.
was able to taunt him right there onto his tower, and
Oh, yeah.
that is something that you want to avoid if you want to be the one pushing the lane right there and pushing that Shen underneath the tower. So far, after this wave is done, the Shen will probably be able to get far ahead in CS. Well, not far ahead, but ahead than the Cho'Gath. The spear is going to get flashed away by the Shen, because if that did, it could have meant that he was going to get dived. Another spear miss right there from Nidalee. First casting teleport back into his lane with some more pots for himself and a defensive ward right there to protect him from any Maokai shenanigans into the mid lane. And again, we see a continuous push on the bot lane for the Misfortune and the Braum, which is exactly how this lane should be played out. But they need to keep an eye for that Nidalee, because right now there's like full darkness on the bot side map for BT.
Oh, and like if Nidalee wasn't there, you could have actually potentially just seen First Blood go straight over to, you know, Shen, who was doing so much damage onto the Cho'Gath right there, who was put somewhat low. And right then, I don't know, like Nidalee is being aggressive. I like this. I like to see that she is, you know, just hopping into lane, trying to help out, throw spears from a distance, and just show like, hey, I'm actually, you know, I'm in this map. Whereas right now, Maokai has just been farming.
Azir is gonna take his soldier and travel away from that Nidalee, but he didn't manage to clear that vision. Any type of money that you can't get off of DD, that can only benefit him, so he does take that pink ward for himself. But I'm pretty sure if Nidalee steps into that mid lane bush, she'll be able to take down a pink ward herself from there. She has been spotted exactly from that pink ward in that bush, and the Maokai is heading towards the top lane again, which is not warded from where Maokai is going right now, and they are going to be facing each other. But right there, right as I said that, he goes close enough to the bush to be able to spot the Maokai with a ward.
Oh, like, I don't know, it depends. Like, we spoke about the runes. You have that Poro that you can put in the bush, and then that's going to ping you when the enemy walks by. Like, I've seen this happen so many times at the top lane where, okay, it's not warded, but there's a Poro there. Like, I don't know. It depends on their runes and the masteries, but it's great to see the changes come into this. But speaking of changes, just look how much this Nidalee is hanging around the mid lane to try and make something work, while Maokai is making his way to the top lane. And I don't know, it's like mid lane is even exchanged to a point where, oh, here comes Maokai from the side of the top lane.
The taunt is going to be landed and flash away from the Cho'Gath. The second he sees the Maokai into the top lane, there is a flash route from the Maokai done right now, and knock up from the Cho'Gath. Is this going to be enough to save him? There is a sapling right there threatening him, but it's not going to be enough damage. That is 2 summoners burned right there. But the Cho'Gath does not go down. Now that needs a return gang from the Maokai. And look what we said about that Kassadin level 6. He is able to solo kill the Azir if he wants to. And he just knew that the Maokai was top lane, so it was pretty much free punishment for the Azir stepping forward.
Oh yeah, like, that's to a point. Like, now you have to get Maokai to go mid. You have to get him to try and help out. Nidalee does spot him, and like, I think that's just going to be a safe backup. You don't want to be giving your first, but like we said, we're going to see aggressive, but right now we've seen so much aggression, but we haven't seen any, you know, like, we haven't seen any kills, and it's 7 minutes in already.
I think we are seeing very calculated aggression. None of these teams want to make mistakes. I mean, come on, DD, I think they spent all the mistakes that a team can have on the last game. So I'm pretty sure they're walking into this game with no mistakes left into their pocket, pretty much. And if BT has any mistakes left, they don't need to do them in this game, because literally the last game that can put them straight into the LAN finals. They don't want to be going into that lower bracket and fighting again for their life to come back up and claim the last ticket, pretty much.
Oh yeah, like, I don't know, like, you want to talk about the last game, but we're going into this game, like, right now, these teams are so even, but look how far they're pushing. The Braum is going to pop the ultimate in the bot lane, and Misfortune
Then
is
it's
also
coming
going to
as
come
well.
out. And the spear is going to land.
It's gonna be landing double spear right there, but the Nidalee is on the side to be able to heal up. Ignite is gonna be burning away, but it's not going to be killing the Braum. They're going to engage again. Double kill for the Shen. TP it down with his ultimate. Kassadin is gonna be getting 1 in return, but that could also mean first tower right now for Bontech, and that Shen right there worked pretty well on that one because the Cho'Gath obviously could not follow. Both the top lane and teleports were popped mostly at the same time, and then the Shen with the ultimate of course could go and follow that bot lane dive. So very well coordinated right there. I would have liked to see the 2 kills on the Misfortune, but on the Shen they're pretty okay as well.
Well, like, you're gonna take it, like, either or, even if you can't give it to the right person. But, like, Cho'Gath is a champion that can't push a lane to kind of counter that. So, like, when they're going for that engagement, they couldn't really do too much. And, like, Cho'Gath couldn't push out the lane in time and barely got damage onto that top lane tower.
Well, Brom is gonna take a trip in the mid lane with his ADC actually, and Gaston is gonna back off and go towards his blue buff. Azir is gonna be backing off right here, and BT's bot lane have nothing better to do other than take another tower in the game, but they really have to be careful of that Gaston because he does have a blasting wand in his inventory, and if he already hurts the Azir enough with those Marbuds, he's going to hurt the Misfortune even more.
Oh yeah, like, getting into this engagement right now, like, Cho'Gath, strangely enough, is, even though Shen has 2 kills, Cho'Gath's farm has kind of, like, kept them in, you know, this one at the top lane. Like, right now, I still think they're pretty even if they have to duel, but you want to definitely avoid, you know, the Shen right now, just because he's doing so much damage.
Well, we do see the Zarya put right there onto the side lane. Azir is going to be joining in that lane as well, just so he can stop the minions from dying to the tower. Safe farming for everyone, but Misfortune Brom have started the way towards the bot side. It is warded everywhere. They are going to get spotted, so Rakan and Zarya are on the way towards their tier 2 bot lane tower. Top lane, yes, Shen lost quite a lot of CS for that TP with his ultimate towards the bot side, but he got benefited by the 2 kills and of course the first tower. Infernal Drake is going to be engaged right now by Bontech though, and there is a teleport on both the top laners who might want to be joining their teams on that fight. Shen is quite chunked down a bit, so I'm not sure he might want to be joining that fight.
Oh no,
And
like,
Bontech is going to be disengaging here.
also, don't forget, Cho'Gath does still have the knockup. He does have the silence. So, like, right now, Cho'Gath is going to be bullying him to the point where, like, if he does teleport into this fight, he's going to be a little bit low. And then, like, also, Cho'Gath can just follow up with his own teleport. Like, even if Shen uses his ultimate, like, eventually. So, I don't know. Like, right now, you're going to see the contest for the dragon. Like, right now, you have to contest this. Here comes the TP down for the Cho'Gath. And then here comes the reply from the Shen.
Exactly, Shen ultimate is coming down onto the Brom, and wasn't... I'm not sure if that should have been a Shen ultimate or a teleport, but the knockup is gonna be landing from the Rakan, and Shen is solo, walking towards the Dragon. What are you doing there? Taunt is gonna be landing onto the Dragon, but it's not gonna be going down. The Infernal goes down to Bontech though, and double kill for the Maokai, killing the Dragon and the Cho'Gath, and only 2 members alive, which is the bot lane for DD right now. Double kill indeed for the Maokai, and ace for the side of Bontech. They have gone into this game very decisive. Dragon and ace, and the only person who they lost was the Shen, and they're gonna take the tower in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Oh boy, 4k ahead right now for Bontech. They can't lose this game.
I don't know. Like, that was a decisive decision. Like, right then, we spoke about whoever tries to take the dragon first, you know, kind of like has the disadvantage, and going and taking the damage right there, and then getting stuck in the pit, and then, like, I don't know, like, this right now, Bontech are in the game. They're showing no cracks right now. They're playing this perfectly. The Shen is taking the right engagements. They, you know, teleporting at the right time. They're catching people off guard, and I don't know, how's Bontech couldn't even respond to this one, especially, you know, that was like a kind of a team ace. So how do you respond to this besides, like, try and find a better, you know, situation in the next fight?
Well, the problem is that even though Bontech was behind in the first game, and not for too much, that Maokai did a lot of work indeed, and now they leave him open again. Bontech takes him again in the jungle, which is where we said that he's famous for in that team. And he has been doing so much work. So much work. Now they put on the side lane the Kassadin with the Shen, and you can see how much pain the Shen is throwing onto that Kassadin. Maokai, though, all on his own right there, has caught the Cho'Gath and he's delaying him from backing off. The Rakan is there as well, and the Kassadin has TP'd meanwhile to the tower, but he's gonna be paying for it. And Azir is gonna be going 3-0-3. That's a different Azir from last game. And we were saying, the ultimate's going to be missing there, but we were saying, how can you pick Azir onto a Kassadin?
Well, I'll tell you
this
how.
This guy probably heard the stream and he was like, I'll just show you how.
Like, Kassadin can 1v1 you, but like they just didn't let it get to the lane phase. They're like, oh well, it's level 6. Let's just take the initiative, go about Dragon, win that team fight, and then like right now, your lane phase as Kassadin versus Azir doesn't seem to matter. Like they're playing so much of a team game. Just look at this. Braum, zoning everybody out. They can't even get near this Rift Herald. Markar's gonna be smarted. Like there's no way you can contest that even. Like that's how smart they're playing this right now.
We talk about how slow the Xayah Rakan lane is, and it is showing. It is showing on their KDs right now because they're very easily diveable and very easily killable at this point. And against such a strong lane as Misfortune Braum, and even if I take Braum out of the picture, which he's very strong right now, Misfortune is a very strong early game ADC, and they were able to take the advantage. I mean, you don't want your ADC sitting on 1, 0, and 7. I mean, ADC 2K17 feels bad, man. Start of the season, if anybody remembers any flashbacks.
Support Misfortune?
Again, this is what's happening again, All the kills are on the Azir for his taking. They have engaged onto the Cho'Gath here. I'm not sure that's the target you want to be putting all your effort on. I mean, he's gonna regen anyways. Knockup is not gonna be landing onto the Azir, but the Herald has been popped, and their eyes are onto this mid lane tower.
There comes Shelly.
And look at that from the side.
Like, I don't know if they want to engage on it, but they are going to be engaging.
From the Rakan right there onto the Misfortune. He's going to be backing off now because he's going to be going down to that Misfortune. Same as the Braum. That's an ultimate went on too late. And the Azir has found himself underneath the tower. He doesn't seem to be carrying much stop because the Maokai is tanking the tower soon after it goes down. Needle Spear is going to be landing, but do you really want to be jumping into 4 members of Bontech when they are pretty much 6k ahead? I don't think so.
No, definitely not. Like, that engagement right there, they got the objective. They didn't really give up too much. They're going to be backing off. The Drake's going to be up in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, like, right now, they've pressured them, a different dimension all the way into the base. Like, they've really pushed all the way down mid. And, like, now, they are getting caught off guard, and the spear just doesn't do too much.
The second that Misfortune shows that she's there, the Kassadin, backed off. The Nidalee could still poke with the spear, but the Kassadin was like, alright, I'm out. Very safe there because the Azir had 0 mana on him, so there was no way he could reply with any damage. The Misfortune just went there, showed herself, stunned everyone with her beauty. Kassadin backed off because he was apparently stunned from it. Nidalee didn't care much, threw another spear, missed, and they both backed off. They have reset, they have bought their items, and they're back into action.
6k gold lead right now for them. Like, right now, the decision making is on another level. It's different to what we've seen in both games, but like, I don't know where to really say besides like, these team fights are so decisive to the point where like, this Azir is now doing a lot more impact than, the Kassadin ever could. And, Xayah still got a long way to go before she's even, remotely to the point of taking in team fights and doing all this damage that she's known for. Like, right now, if they can't get any more kills onto Xayah, or they can't pressure anybody, but look at the Azir just trying to land more damage onto the Kassadin, who is going to be going down in the top lane, and that's just going to continue to snowball. And like, look, he's turning onto this Cho'Gath. I don't think too much is going to come from that chase, but that's just Azir being like, hey, what was this about picking Kassadin?
Exactly. I think he heard our stream and he was like, wait a minute. What did this guy say? I'll just show them. Although saying that Cho'Gath is onto him, he has to flash away to safety, but that is safety right there. He's not going to die. Another tower going down for Bontech. 5 versus 0 for TD. This is very dangerous territory for TD right here. They threw the win, and we said there's only 2 things that can happen when you lose a game like this. You're either gonna pull yourself together and say, okay, if I could win this game easy, I can win the next game easy as well. So let's go. Or you're gonna lose it completely. And right now, DD is losing that best 3 out of their hands.
Oh yeah, they completely cleared their jungle. They backed off, got a free Drake. They're gonna start preparing, for the Baron. Like, I don't know how you're really gonna get to this, to a point where, like, unless they find a team fight like we saw in the last game, but reversed, where Bontech just get caught off guard, or they make some, like, one of the mistakes. Like, right now, they're just running away with it. Like, Bontech are just showing no cracks. They're like, hey, you guys gave it a slight advantage. We're gonna use whatever we can. And they do see the Kassadin, but rightfully so. They're just gonna back off with not having too much vision right there.
Well, let's see how they're going to be using that 7k lead that they have onto DD. That Azir, 40 CS ahead. And he's got Nasser's Tooth again. And where I want to end up is that is a huge lead for 19 minutes into the game. Baron is spawning in 30 seconds, and he could very easily be engaged by Bontech. Needle is going to be finding a Brom dance. He's literally going to tickle him with a long distance spear that does no damage right now to the Brom.
Yeah, like that's one thing. Picking Nidalee to a point is like, if you don't go aggressive and you don't find early picks, you're going to be in trouble. Like, the spears aren't doing too much. Oh yeah, like look at that full long range damage to Azir, who, like, it tickles him as well.
When the enemies, like, if Bontech has been playing with 3 tanks every single game. Tank support, tank jungle, tank top lane. And picking Nidalee into this, don't go ahead early. I think it's pretty much useless towards the late game.
Oh yeah, like Nidalee, if she can't get away in the early game, and especially like she excels in the landing phase. And right now, Bontech, we're like, we don't want a landing phase. We're just going to push as a team completely this time. We're not giving you guys a sliver of hope in this one. So, I don't know, like, unless Nidalee catches somebody off guard, like she has now, she catches the Malka, but like she can't do too much.
Going to be breaking in, knocked up by the Rakam, who's going to be stuck there onto the Malka route. Down he goes, the Misfortune. Cho'Gath is being chased away, and the Malka has got 3 people. Kassadin is going to be jumping into the enemy team, but the Xayah is the one that can kill somebody, and that will be the Azir. Nidalee goes down in the meantime, and Xayah has been caught by the Shen. Flash onto the Misfortune from the Kassadin, and flash towards the Xayah by the Misfortune, who's going to be her death, but 3 members are chasing that Cho'Gath, and the Xayah is going to be going down as well as the Cho'Gath here. Kassadin is the only one who gets away from it. 4 kills for 2. Again in favor of Bontech. 9k ahead right now.
Like, I don't know how you're going to get back into this one. Although we said that last game. Like, how do we get back into this? Oh, well, we wait for the enemy to make a big mistake. And right now, Bontech, they're not showing mistakes. They're not showing any, forms of weakness. They're not going like, oh, we're making bad engages anymore. Like, they've learned their lesson. They're not doing this anymore. So the question comes, like, how do you get back into this? We're going to have to see it. Baron is live. They've barely got a tower down. The only tower they've really managed to take in is the top lane. Like, unless you have some serious split pushing game to get into this, you're not going to have a chance. Like, right now, they have a Cho'Gath, and I wouldn't call him a split pushing god right now.
I mean, he only even has 1 item completed, and that item is solely for the Azir, who's doing tremendous damage at this point. And when you have a Cho'Gath at this point with only 1.5 items into his inventory, you know that that game needs to go to 5 items to be able to turn around onto a team fight for DD, because they do have the scaling onto their team. And then you're going to put the Misfortune not being able to deal with the Cho'Gath, but that's only 1 tank he has to deal with. DD has to deal with 3 tanks. And even at that point, the Azir has gone onto Liandry's to boost his HP up, so there's not really an easy target right there, if you think about it, for DD.
I don't know, I don't know, they can wait for the really late game if they can get them. Like, they have to try and defend, like, their base right now. And you see, just look at this Baron right now. Like, it's not too contested. Nidalee is just throwing spears just around to tickle a few people. But, like, I don't think they can really contest this. I don't think they can catch somebody off guard. Because right now, look at the front line. It's going to be the Malka and Brom.
They have got the Kassadin onto the side. Taunt is going to go down. And Kassadin is going to be going down straight away after that. And That might have been a promo ultimate, but it was so worth it because it's one of the people that does the damage. They have got the chocolate as well. They don't care that he's the most tanky member of DD. They want to take him down, and so they pull Zaya ultimate zone right there. Before the Rakan makes it in, he's dead. In between his jump, he can't even get into that fight.
I don't know what to say. Like, unless they catch somebody off guard, like Azir. Unless they catch, you know, the misfortune in the backline. But, like, it's not happening. Look how much damage Azir is doing right now. He doesn't even flash of his own ult. He gets the double kill. Like, how do you stop this man?
6-1 and 9. He's making the dream right here. How do you play? How do you pick Azir when you know the enemy team locks in custody? Like this is the question. Baron is gonna be going down for Bontech. Everything is moving so smoothly this game for Bontech. 12k up, Baron up, 19 kills to 5, 6 towers to 1, and now they're looking for their first inhibitor.
Like, I don't know, just looking at the gold lead, looking at, you know, they've got 2 Drakes, they got the Baron, they're going for another Drake. Like, I don't know, we're gonna have to see a reverse, you know, different dimension in this one if they want to get back into this one. We're gonna have to see them, you know, making a really major mistake. We're gonna have to see them trying to, I don't know, like, I want to say to a point, like, Nidalee right now isn't going to be his use. So you're going to be going to these team fights, you know, not being able to poke anybody down, not doing too much damage. And then you also have the Zaya, who's going to be doing your most damage, but, like, she doesn't do too much now compared to, you know, the Azir. And also a 0-3 Nidalee, not going to do too much. 1-2 Cho'Gath while he's your tank. And then if a lot of it falls into this Kassadin, who's also 1-4. Like, there's not damage to follow up into these team fights, and right now they're just getting absolutely shredded in them.
And that's where you were saying, well, they can't get worse. They have Baron buff, they're like 11k, 12k ahead. Well, it can't get worse. They just got the second Infernal Drake of their game under their name, and Shen has been chased away, but not really, because he doesn't really care. He just wants to keep people, as many people, busy on him as possible, just to make it easier. That Rakan is suffering so tremendously hard. He can't even make his way into the team to taunt anyone. Literally mid-jump, he's dead.
Oh yeah,
First
and
inhibitor
like,
down is gonna be going down right here, and if there's a fight to break, that needs to be it. They cannot let DD push because they have 3 waves coming into, Bontech push because of 3 waves coming into DD's base right now. First inhibitor tower, second inhibitor tower down, first inhibitor down as well. Knockup's gonna be landing on the Misfortune, but look at all this damage. Oh my god! Another kill for that Maokai. 6, 0, and 9. He makes it work again. Mid-jump, their account goes down, the Misfortune. Another kill for the Maokai. 7, 0, and 10. This guy shows you why he's fun. Maokai and Sejuani against him. They don't care about the Shen. They just have him back there to be zoning other people, and they are on to the Nexus. Oh my god. Good game, well played, Bontech. And we are going to be seeing them in the live LAN finals. Yeah.
no words. No words. I'm out. Yes. No, like really, that game, we spoke about decisiveness, and we spoke about the 2 types of teams, and we spoke about just how one team can kind of show up, another one can't really. And like after, I think, that last game, different dimension went into this game with an aggressive plan in mind, with an aggressive Nidalee perk in the way, and it just didn't work out. They completely got, I would say, counterplayed by Bontech. You know, this is here showing like, well, matchups don't matter if you just end the laning phase, you know, in like 7 minutes in. So Bontech, congratulations. I don't know what to say to them. Like, going into this one, you guys will be going through, and right now moving to a different dimension, you don't have to be resetting off this one. Like, what does this do to your mental state?
I think they weren't mentally prepared for that 3rd game. Going to be pretty hard to be able to compose yourself after what they did on the 2nd game. It was a huge mistake done 3 times in a row. Same mistake 3 times in a row. And you know what? Bontech did try in the second game. There were mistakes from them as well, but they did try a lot to come back until the last second, and they got given the chance to prove that if there is a chance for this to go into a third game, they can take it away, and they have the ability and they have what it takes, and that this Maokai in the jungle does count, and he is strong, and we knew him for his Sejuani, but now he's getting known for his Maokai as well. And this guy is pretty much like a tank god in the jungle, and he proves it right here with that game on the Maokai. I mean, for sure, congratulations to Bontech, and we're not saying goodbye to Different Dimension. They are going to be dropping on the lower bracket, so they do have a chance on to coming back out of there, back to the upper bracket as well, and having a chance for the ticket to the LAN finals. So, any last words?
I don't know. I just can't wait to see how these teams go forward. Like, moving on, are Bontech going to be like, well, okay, we go to breath of fresh air. Let's, this meta, that the picks that we have are working perfectly. Let's try and get them going to the future games. This tank style jungle pays off in the late game, and it really paid off during the whole game this time. And like, they're playing such a tank meta. Like, right now, the meta's kind of assassin-y. So like, they don't do too much damage. They can't get into this, and they're playing it perfectly. And now going forward, I don't know, moving to the other side, Different Dimension, gonna have to reset themselves. Go, okay, that happened. End of story. Let's move on. Let's go to the next game. Let's not make these mistakes. Let's learn from what happened tonight, and then go forward back into this one, especially in the lower bracket. Like, they're not out. They got a lot of work to do. So I don't know. I'm very excited to see how these two teams adapt going forward to the next stages.
Well, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go into a very small break, and then we're going to start getting into Rift versus GPlayBG, who right now are playing their first game. So we are going to be jumping straight into the second game, whoever wins the first one. So, stay with us. We're going to be back very shortly with Rift versus Play. Stay tuned.